Jams, I've done it again. I've just bought random crap on Facebook Market Trade. And what you see in front of you is the latest installment. It's a Techni Ice refrigerated freezer esky. So you can cool all your food and chill it on the way to a picnic when you're out camping or the like. Okay, here is the original listing, the Facebook Market Trade listing. The seller claims he bought it from someone on the Market Trade and got ripped a new one. Doesn't work. Old mate refused to give him money back. So live and learn. He states cosmetically it's in fantastic condition, very clean. Compressor and fan turn on, but does not get cold. I've done some diagnostics and I think it needs to be regassed. I paid $150 for this doorstop. $20. He's asking $20, and you may get many parts to be used to repair if you have a similar model. Pick up. Okay. I work my magic on the seller and immediately offer half of what he's asking. So I offer $10, a crispy $10 pick up on this 60-litre fridge freezer. And seller immediately agrees. So here we are. And about 15-20 minutes later, because he's really close to me, we have ourselves a Techni Ice fridge freezer that doesn't get cold. So let's get stuck into it. We're just going to unzip it here and reveal the goods before we begin diagnosis troubleshooting. We'll have a look and see exactly what we've got ourselves into. As you can see, it's almost mint condition. I don't even know if this fridge freezer has been used. It looks fantastic. Let me just say that. Let's have a good look at it and take our time and go over this. Alright, we've got this up on the bench, and as you can see, looking at it, this fridge freezer is mint condition. It runs on 12 volt, so we've got our batteries ready to go, ready to power this up and see exactly what this guy's talking about. Does it get cold? Doesn't it get cold? Let's find out. Let's try and turn it on to start with and see if the compressor actually works. As you can see, I've got a highly technical electrical device set up with a battery to power this fridge freezer on. I didn't realise it straight away, but this fridge freezer takes a good 30 seconds to a minute, maybe 2 minutes even, to turn on, for the compressor to turn on at least. So yeah. So I'm playing with the settings, adjusting them up and down, thinking this compressor is actually fine. But it turns out it's just the way this compressor works. Fridge freezer works. It takes a little bit of time to actually kick in. So here we are about 2 minutes later. You can hear the tiny little compressor kicked in. So we can verify that the compressor is working and the fan on the condenser is working. This is a good sign. This tells me that we've got a chance to fix this unit and it's not something more serious like a dead compressor or some type of other electrical issue. So it's definitely not getting cold, so we're going to go ahead and pull this system down a little bit and see where we stand. Let's get busy. Alright, now that we've got the cover off, we can see what we've got to work with. You can see the little condenser there. Just behind that is the fan. Got a nice little caking of dust there. There's the little compressor. That's a very small little 12 volt compressor. Fantastic. That'll actually make a nice GPU cooler. Something like a GTX 1060 6 gig. That'd be a nice little GPU cooler. But we're not going to do that with this esky today. We're going to keep it in the esky and see if we can fix it. Alright, that little compressor you can see there is a T26K. Whatever the hell that is, I'm going to assume that's a 50 watt compressor like the one I just used in my GPU cooler that failed. We are going to add a access valve to the low side on the compressor there, and then we're going to vacuum that out, and of course we recover the gas responsibly, as we always do with all of our systems here. We're very professional, and we're going to charge it up. Now we're not going to use any exotic gases because I don't have any. We're going to be using the usual barbecue gas, R290, and we're going to see how we go with that. As you can see there, we're going to add a little 1/4 inch joiner to the low side, so we can add a 1/4 inch access valve onto that, which will enable us to vacuum this little system out. Once we vacuum this system out, we can then charge it up with a barbecue gas. Right, as you can see there, we've got our little access valve, which has currently got a valve inside it, which we're going to have to remove before we braze it onto the low side, because if we braze that onto the low side with that valve inside intact, it will melt the seal and we're going to get a leaking system. We can't have a leaking system, so we've got to take the valve out, as you can see there. And yeah, there's our silver brazing flux, which we use on the 15% silver solder, which gives us a nice even solder. Ripper, look at that. Works a treat. Looks good. I like the look of that. That's an access valve on the low side right there. Let's take a closer look at this brace, Chance. Well, not bad. That's not bad for me. Come on now. It's been a long time since I've done this, so give me some credit. Alright guys, we're going to give this a little bit of a wire wheel buzz. Make it look a little bit better. Because I've been looking at my other videos and those brazes look like absolute trash. So we'll just give it a bit of a wire brush up here and make sure it looks great. It doesn't help having a flat battery on your drill. It makes it very difficult to give it a good buzz. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, probably should have charged that up before I started. Lucky for me though, I've got another battery. Yeah, that's cooked guys, that's cooked. Definitely a lot easier with a fresh battery. Before we vacuum all the moisture out of this system, we're going to have to put the valve back into this Schrader valve. We are ready to give this system a vacuum. So the blue hose on our gauges go on the low side, as you can see there. And in true rookie form, and sticking with our true rookie theme we've got going on, I connect the red high side to the vacuum pump, and I turn the vacuum pump on and wonder why it's not vacuuming the system out. Whatever. We quickly fixed our mistake and began a proper vacuum on this system. Alright, this is about 30 minutes later, and I think that's close enough for me. We're going to stop it right there, and we are going to begin our charge process. Yellow hose straight up to the barbecue gas, then we can begin charging this little system and see where we land. We'll start by giving a little squirt into the low side. Then we're going to power on the system and see how it responds. See how this tiny little compressor responds to this squirt of R290. Taking into account this little system, you heard that? This little system takes a good minute or 2 minutes to actually turn on. You can hear the little compressor kicking in right there. So you can see the low side dropping down after we gave it an initial squirt of R290. So we're going to let that settle for probably a good 2 or 3 minutes to see how the low side pressure handles that last squirt of R290, and that will determine whether we need to give it another squirt of R290. So we'll let that run for a couple of minutes and see how we go. That initial squirt didn't really seem to do much at all, and I was just checking around and looking at the insulation coming back onto the high side, and I felt a big rip on the other side of that insulation there. So I decided to go ahead and add another cable ties to make sure that was the low side was actually insulated properly. I get distracted very easily, so yeah, now that I've got that out of the way, I can focus on the charge again. Alright, back to the charge. I didn't really trust the temperature readout on that LED display on the actual unit, so I decided to get a proper K-type thermocouple reader onto the inside of this freezer to see exactly what was happening inside there. And as you can see, that readout on the device, on the freezer itself, doesn't update that quickly. So the initial charge seems to be doing okay, but I'm inclined to give it another good squirt of R290, and I'm checking the low side to see if there's any freeze back to the compressor. If there's freeze back to the compressor, then I've put too much gas in, but that's not the case right now. I think we should just leave it as it is because it's dropping nicely. Okay, this is about 2 or 3 minutes after the last time I turned on the camera, and the K-type probe says -11, and the readout on the freezer itself says 8 degrees Celsius, so that doesn't seem to be accurate, or there is just a delay for some reason. So as you can see, the K-type is dropping nicely, so I don't feel like we should add any more gas at this point. We'll just give it another maybe 5 minutes or so and see if we get any freeze back to the compressor, and we'll go from there. Been another couple of minutes, and it's still dropping nicely on the K-type probe, which I believe a lot more than the readout on the freezer itself. So the K-type says, you know, -15, as you can see. That's a good temperature. So I don't feel we need to add any more gas. We just need to let the system stabilize and see where this readout on the freezer lands. Pressures, the low side pressure's okay. I mean, it's a very small compressor. It's not like the internal pressures are going to be crazy or anything like that. I'm not getting any freeze back on the compressor itself. I don't feel it's cold at all. So, which tells me I think we might have a nice balance of gas inside the unit. This is a couple of minutes after the last one, and the internal temperatures of this freezer is still dropping. As you can see, minus 17.3 degrees right there. Now the LCD readout on the freezer itself does not align. It's still dropping, but it seems to be dropping a lot slower. That's okay. I'm sure if we leave it for an hour or two, it will align with our K-type probe. I mean, our K-type probe is reading directly on the side of the freezer itself, so that's a lot more accurate. This is another couple of minutes after the last one, and the internal temperatures seem to have stabilized at minus 18 degrees. We have actually set the temperature to minus 15 on the panel there, but it is minus 18 degrees, and it is still dropping on the panel. So we're going to leave it there, guys. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the charge. I'm happy with the temperatures on the K-type probe. As you can see, we've got some good freezing happening inside the unit itself. So I'm very happy with the result here. So we're just going to leave it at that. I'm not getting any freeze back on the compressor at all. This is after, like, I'd say maybe 20 minutes. So we're going to go with that. We'll just give it a quick clean before we put it all back together. There's quite a bit of dust. We'll just reassemble the unit here. Time to put it back into the protective cover that it came in. Nice little cover. The unit's very heavy. I want to say about 25 kilos. This is the pathetic little cooler I was using before in my patrol. The travel cooler. Look at it. Say bye-bye to the travel cooler. Your time has come, buddy. You're done. You served your purpose, but mate, just look at the size difference. Travel cooler, like a 20 litre versus a 60 litre Technique Ice. Minus 18 degrees. Look at that. What a ripper. Back of the patrol you go.